Hello, I'm Ray Martin. I'm outside of Geelong in a community called Armstrong. Tony Johnson and Rory Costello are the two executive directors of Villawood Properties. So let's talk about Aqua River. What was the idea behind that?
Southeast Water developed a whole lot of water technology and they need to roll it out in the public, so they need to partner with somebody to actually build it. Southeast Water had done all the innovation and they had an old treatment plant in Lyndhurst. So they put tenders out for, I think it's about 14 other developers put their hand up to be the partner of this particular project, and we had, I think, far more passion and innovation ideas to win the gig, which we're very grateful for.
So what did you want to do? What have you done?
The central innovation was taking rainwater to rainwater tanks, which is not new obviously, but in an urban environment it is. The water comes off the roofs to the tank and then gets filtered, UV'd and heated within the hot water system, and then it goes through your hot water service. So the project's got recycled water and gardens, cold water in your washing machine and your toilets. The rainwater tank goes through the hot water service system, and then you've got drinking water in the taps for the cold water. So under that system, there's about a 70% saving in potable water. And then we've...
70%?
Yeah, so it's quite a very large in potable water has to be generated. As we've gone along, we've stepped up. We're now actually supplying batteries from stage 4. We're supplying batteries to the buyers, and they can upgrade them if they want. So at the moment...
This is solar panels.
We give them a 5K battery, which saves them about 62% in their power bill. But if they upgrade to a 7K battery and put 5 kVA on the roof, that saves about 92% of their power bill. So it's really significant.
Absolutely. I mean, those...
On top of that, Ray, there's also other things like a complete recycled grey water system within the development. So they're a micro system, new technology again, very small system, first time most probably used in Australia. So there's a whole lot of things we're testing and trialling, which we're going to use and lay out into ongoing development.
I was going to say that. I mean, what did you learn from that? Because it was so revolutionary.
So this whole place could be picked up and taken anywhere in Australia in a remote area of, mining company could pick the whole system up and use it to use less water and less power. And in an urban situation too, the other thing with the tanks is there's a thing called onebox, which is an intelligent system which measures all water, power and gas that comes into the household.
These are computer driven?
People can see it on their phone, on an app, and they can actually see how much their shower's using in power and water. And what it also does, it's a flood management system, so all the tanks there combined become a retarding system. So when there's an 80% chance of a major storm happening, all the tanks just dump hours earlier, so the water flows through at a more regulated rate. So when the storm comes, the initial rain all these tanks recapture that water again, so it gets rid of a lot of flooding.
Is that in theory, or have you actually proven that?
No, it's happening. It's happening right now. So you can imagine going to built-up areas that do flood already and using this tank system. So it's really super important that this partnership went ahead, so we could actually demonstrate to the general public that these things do work. And certainly, if you build the right thermal design, you don't need your air conditioning as much, you don't need your heating as much. So that inherently saves you power without worrying about whether it's coal-fired power or green power. And if you're not using as much, then certainly your system on your roof and batteries can then support the house, become basically carbon neutral. But if you build 8-star compared to 6-star, you actually need half the amount of energy to run that house. It's quite incredible what a difference it makes. And as the temperature getting higher and higher and higher, you've got to keep people safe. If you've got a thermally designed house that will withstand the heat and stay cool, even after days of over 40 degrees, it's a very important thing.
But you make the point that you can do these things and be competitive, if not cheaper, blocks than someone else has got down the road, and provide more services. So it is possible.
Oh, it is. And sometimes it does affect our bottom line. Sometimes we'll subsidise these things. It's a long-term view. I just know you've got to have a social responsibility, and we know it will work in future. So if somebody doesn't have a crack at it, and that's why I really commend Southeast Water for this Aqua River project. Yeah. And they actually developed it in-house, all this, and they tested it in just individual houses, but to come and test it on 500 lots in one spot, next to one of our other master plan communities, Marriott Waters. It's just working beautifully, and I just think it's the best thing that's happened in urban Australia.
Wow, that's a big call.
Well, you've got to lead the way, and that's part of what we do, try and lead the way.
The Water Minister, Lisa Neville, she talks about it in Parliament, she talks about it everywhere. She's just so proud of being part of this joint venture we're doing with Southeast Water to produce the most sustainable urban community in Australia.